So I am driving this new 911. And it's an interesting car. Like lots of 911s, it splits opinion. It always does. You know, we went from air-cooled to water-cooled, and this one has electric power steering. And again, I think it's really almost changed sectors. It's become not just a sports car, but a sports GT car. So has that reduced its appeal? Well, no. I think it has actually expanded its appeal to more people. Back in even 997, you read road tests of 911 versus XKR versus maybe Maserati Gran Turismo. And those two cars which I've just mentioned, are GT cars. With the 911 always being the kind of the sporting alternative, slightly more hardcore, slightly more compromised, with a slightly different driving style because it's rear-engined, and I'm going to get to that in a second. This car is bigger. It feels more grown up inside. We've got a larger centre console which sweeps upwards as opposed to staying low. Quite a large dashboard, and the car feels wider, albeit still placeable on the road. On a small road, you might still rather be in a 997. The first bone of contention that many people might have would probably be the steering. I don't think, or I say bone of contention that people might think they have. It's electrically power assisted as opposed to being hydraulically power assisted, and I don't think it's bad. I don't think you lose an awful lot on a day-to-day basis. It's nicer when you're manoeuvring. And it's pretty damn good cross-country as well, to be honest. It is very accurate, nicely weighted as well. So while there might not be quite as much feel, you still get some feel, and just the weight of it is beautifully judged. This car's got a PDK gearbox. I think that has got to the point where it is fantastic and great for this kind of car, which isn't an out-and-out luxurious car. Well, I still think an automatic works best. But in this kind of, as I say, sports GT, I think the PDK, you can't deny it's probably going to be, for a lot of people, the very, very best option. I haven't tried the 7-speed manual, and I'd like to, and I think that probably is still going to be the purest option, but you can't take anything away from the PDK. Chassis balance. Well, this is where I think the car's moved on an awful lot. It no longer feels, it's still rear-engined, but it no longer feels an everyday driving ostensibly rear-engined. It doesn't feel overly rear-engined. There's a lovely balance to it, and I've had a little bit of a play around a couple of kind of lower speed corners. We're lucky it's a little bit damp today, so it's reduced the friction that you've got to brake to explore these boundaries, and it just comes back to you beautifully. Traction control switched on or off. I mean, the traction control, I think, is one of the best I've tried. It judges that fine line between allowing you to have a little bit of fun but it isn't too intrusive, and it doesn't cut in abruptly like it does in some systems. The car also doesn't feel too light at the front end, which some 911s do, which mean you have to brake quite hard, get the weight over the front end, and turn in before you get on the power. And then being careful on the power on the way out. This car feels more neutral in terms of its weight distribution. Inside, the car feels, as I say, probably better made, more grown up. Do I like it? I think probably in 2 or 3 years' time, when we've got used to it, maybe a 997 is going to feel old. For this journey I'm just doing, which is cross-country, I might enjoy a 997, particularly a GTS manual, maybe a little bit more. Can you take anything away from the 991 PDK as a Carrera S? No. It is superb, and it would be wrong really to criticise it too much. Brings you on to just another very, very quick one. This is an S, and again linked to the gearbox. It feels very, 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 very fast indeed. A quick demonstration of that. I'm just going to drop it into seconds. We're at 40 miles an hour, and that's 70. And I'm just going to brake down. The car feels supremely quick, and that's really, especially when you start comparing it to turbos and things like it's hugely slower than a turbo in reality.